Alofa lava, whakalofalahi atu, and welcome back to Talanoa Ako Session 4.
Yep.
I am one of your hosts, Oliana Eniata, a teacher at St. Paul's College, and we have our beautiful host. I'll let him introduce himself.
Aloha to everyone. For those tuning in for the first time, why are you tuning in on session four? But that's okay. You can watch the other ones. But this session four, my name is Karl Vasau, Niuean, Samoan, Tongan, Palangi, all the extras. Born and bred in Grey Lynn, and currently the proud principal of Rowandale School in Manarewa. 12 years I've been at this school as principal. And so, it's getting a bit long in the tooth, but love it. Couldn't I get up every morning and I love it, as do you, I'm sure, Oliana, every day.
Oh, I love my job. I was talking about that. We're having a bit of a session talking about our jobs, and I can't see myself doing any other job, just this job. So yeah, it's
A
it's
calling,
it's
yeah.
wonderful. We're we're
It's
we're we're
definitely
so
a
blessed.
calling.
We're so blessed to be teachers or, to teach at Tamariki. So
So
how's the year been so far for you, Carl?
yeah, definitely one that is of change. So in our school, we've only had one teacher turnover. They've gone to Australia, and so we only had to really appoint one. And then we had another teacher leave, but we had one of our teacher aides who years ago decided to go on a journey where she would upskill to become a teacher, and she graduated. So now she's a teacher here. So we grow our own. And that helps to the whole environment in a school where if the people if there's limited turnover, then it's easy for beginning of the year to share the vision because everyone remembers it from the year before. So we've had a really good, easy job there. And the two teachers, the new teachers, the one that's a TA and the new one, fitting in beautifully into our school.
That's awesome. Doesn't that just make your job a lot easier?
Definitely.
But thanks, Carl. We'll get straight into it. So, this session 4, it's all about well-being, Hauora, and we're going to be looking at attendance. So, it's we hear this word, well-being, and what is well-being? Your child's well-being, and we're going to be looking into, establishing those routines and expectations and talking about emotions and even what you can do as a parent to help your child's well-being. And that's really, really important because it starts with you. So your child's well-being, we know that a happy settled child is a child who is ready to learn. When your child is happy and they're so settled and just loving life, they are ready to learn. And at home, it's so important to support this by getting back to reestablishing those clear routines and expectations. And um, it's been a bit difficult in our home is getting those sleep times back on track. So that's a big one. How's your son with his sleep times, Carl?
Yeah, definitely. When we have such a wonderful Christmas break, it's always important then to start winning them back in. We do still have those reward times. So if you've got a routine where you allow your child on their device, not cutting off the device, but making sure that it is timetabled, and then getting them back to sleep. Of course, some of the best things come on TV at around about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and the temptation is to, let them watch it. But what's important is is enough sleep at night to ensure they wake up. My son, if he goes to bed early, he tends to get up earlier. And that's okay because he has this internal clock. But making sure that their mind starts to shut down early. So just before bed, at least 30, 40 minutes before bed, you should no device so that their mind just starts to slow down. Talking to my son, going to do some reading together, really vital. But yeah, no, it's been a struggle to get him to get to bed early.
Think that's not just with children, I think that's with adults too, like myself. I've been struggling with sleep times and like Carl said, a big thing is our devices. So making sure we turn our devices like we expect our tamariki, our children, to have their devices turned off. As adults, we should be the role models. We should be doing that as well. So yeah, that's something I'm still working on. We don't realize but sleep is so important to our hauora, to our well-being. And I guess I didn't realize that when I was young. And I think most of our teenagers, they, think that they're superheroes or, superwoman, superman, think they can stay up all night playing COD. Well, I must be just talking to him about my daughter, and then they think that they can get up early in the morning and they have all this energy, but they don't because that affects them at school. And as a teacher, I see that. I see some students falling asleep in class. And I'm looking at the time thinking, oh my goodness, it's not even lunchtime yet, and then I'm talking to the students and I'm like, why are you so tired? Oh, I was up all night. Okay, so that's what we get from some of, our tamariki in the classroom. So, parents, it's so important to please make sure your child gets enough sleep. That they get enough sleep. And so they're not just, in a good mood at home. 'Cause I know my daughter when, she hasn't got enough sleep, she's not in a really good mood. So not only are they in a good mood at home, but they're ready to learn at school. And that's what's so important. And, it's so helpful. Um, so yeah. So getting that sleep time back on track is so important. And also, I think what's important is, you having that connection with your child. I guess for younger ones, joining them in play. I know Carl spoke about reading a book with your son. Do you just do that before he goes to sleep, Carl?
Try to, but sometimes the book puts me to sleep, and next minute, my son's staring at me, and I'm like this. But yes, definitely, I try to or read something, whether it be a book or whether you read something from your phone to him about a post, or you talk about some facts. And so at the moment, there's this theme in school, and they're learning about different parts of the ocean. And so I knew because my son attends my school, so I knew that the theme is that is an ocean education, and so he's talking about these facts about whales and eels, certain eels, and that he's so excited because in 2 weeks' time the theme changes to rocky shore, and so they're going to go down
Oh,
to the beach and explore. Now I love taking my son to fishing with me. And so when we talk about, limiting devices, what's important is with their sleep, they also need to have their mind stimulated in really healthy ways. So we go fishing, we catch, but I can guarantee about an hour into the fishing, look up, where's my son? He's down at the rocks, looking inside the pot, the little
perhaps.
pools, looking for crabs, coming over saying, look, there's a shark head here, there's all of this stuff. And what's important is those experiences will also help them go to sleep because they'll have these real fresh stuff that's in their minds rather than the blue screen, that blue data that goes through their minds when they're looking into their phones. So allowing for stimulation when their minds or calming down of their minds are important.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks for that. I know, like, I guess when you have that time with your child, when you make that time, they feel more secure, eh? They feel heard, they feel listened to, they feel loved. So when they walk into the classroom, they have, m more confidence, more resilience, they're ready to learn. And I guess as a teacher, as teachers, we see that. And so, yeah, I love what you do with your child. I know a lot of our tamariki these days, they're just right into the devices, it's like everything, it's on devices. Oh, oh, we should go down to we should go and check out this this concert or whatnot. Oh, well, we can just watch it online. Mom, we can just see it online. We can just see someone's live. Like, oh, it's not the same. So I think, that I guess that's this generation as well. So like you said, young minds, especially growing minds, they need to be stimulated. So yeah, it's so awesome that you can make those links with whatever they're learning at school and going taking them to the beach. So I guess with that comes the talking about emotions, and I guess with I think things are changing now. I didn't really talk about emotions growing up when I was young, wasn't, a lot of talk around that. But, these days, especially with my children, there's a lot of we do talk a lot about emotions and how we're feeling. And I don't know, parents, are you asking your child how they're feeling? You know, do you ask your son how he's feeling, Carl?
You can see it on their faces sometimes. And sometimes as parents, we only want the best for our kids because we only know what we know and how we were raised. And some of us can talk of the iron fists or the don't answer back, child be seen and not heard. But the 21st century learner is very different. And so sometimes I can see it on my son's face, how harsh I've been to him But what's important is that you need to read those signs. And then you need to know, you best know how to get your child back on form, because the last thing you want is for them to feel like their emotions have been stood on, regardless of how you feel or what has happened. Lots of us make mistakes. And when we make mistakes as family, as adults in our homes, sometimes we are not held to account. And if we do things that are bad, we are not held to account. But our children, one of our obligations as parents is to correct them. But also they need to see that it is fair and that talanoa. So we've often talked about the importance of sitting down and allocating time to talk. And Oliana has talked about it when we talk about, setting time aside every day to unpack how the day went. And so when you do, try and throw in those emotions side of things, because the kids will really appreciate being on the same level as you. And if you are able to say, well, this is where I think that I've let things down, or this is where I have not been forthcoming in how I'm supposed to be as a parent, man, you'll earn brownie points with your children, especially when they can say, hey, my mom and dad, they're not perfect. Well, in my world, they are, but they're not perfect at certain things, and they're admitting it. And then the last thing we want is for our kids not to feel comfortable or not to feel safe about engaging with their parents, especially when emotions are getting the best of them. And I, for one, are the same as you, Oliana, where, our children mean the world to us. And so if they don't feel like they can come to you first and foremost, then make sure that they've got that other adult. Do you have something like that for your kids where they can go to someone else if they are not feeling good with their emotions?
Definitely. Definitely, if it's not me or their father, they have other family members, and they even have friends, some friends that they go and see. And I know with schools, we offer some help there. We have, counselors, we have, psychologists, if you want to see a counselor. So it's all open door policy here at St. Paul's. So we're lucky. I know every school would have a counselor or someone that they can go see. If they don't want to talk to a family member or a parent, the school's a safe space. They have the right people there. Even your teacher, your form teacher, or even
Yes.
your dean. I always tell, being a year nine dean, I'm always telling my year nines when we have our dean assembly or our year level assembly. If you can't talk, to your parent or anyone else, any other adult, come and see me. Come and talk to me. So yeah, well, there's a lot of help for you. There's our tamariki, they're never alone, and I hope they know this. And I hope, as parents, you can communicate this, with them if they can't come to see you. And as parents, don't be upset. Don't be upset that, they might not and talk to you. You know, there's just some things, even me being a mother, some things that my children don't want to talk to me about. So, and I'm so grateful that they can go see other adults, that they can talk to other people that they feel safe with. And in saying that, we need you. We need parents and caregivers to play their part in helping our young people, especially to prioritize their learning. Us teachers, we can provide these great, awesome lessons, but we rely on you to get them through the gate and ready to engage, to be engaged and ready to learn. Um, and when you speak positively about school, as a parent, and make attendance a non-negotiable priority in the household, it sends like, a massive signal to your child. Okay. It's telling them that education is important, that you value education. So, you parents, caregivers, whānau, you are the biggest influence on your child's attitude. So, help us, help them by keeping, education at the top, of your family agenda, at the top of, what's important. So, yeah, is there anything you want to add there, Carl?
I think you touched on really two really good points. The place and the relationship that children form with their teacher. For some students, it's one of the regular things for them is to have that adult contact. And if it's a really good teacher, goodness me, and all we want for your children is the best. And so if we can help in any way and connect, my teachers are told often that, be the teacher that you would want your own child to have. Make sure that if it's good enough for your own kids, it's good enough for these children. And so take them and love them all equally, as Master Champagne would say. Teach them all and love them all, but love them equally is the challenge we have. And so for teachers, that's really important. I think what's important too is that if children are fed well, sleep well, equipped with the skills, they will come to school all the time. They will come to school, and that's why for our government, a focus on attendance is key at the moment. So they've set a target for 80% attendance at 90% or more. So their formulas stipulate that a child can be away from school, for sick or for certain reasons, 2 days in a week, in a fortnight. 2 days in a fortnight? Yes, 2 days in a fortnight. And so if your children are having more time than that, you need to realize how much of an effect this is having on their learning. And so did you have yourself, Oliana, a child where your own children, where their attendance was, well, was poor and some of the ways in which reasons why they stayed away?
Yes, I have. One of my daughters, um, she wasn't going to school because, like you said, she wasn't engaged. you know, she just chose some to do other things. So I guess what's important, we spoke about Kmart and checking, the portal and stuff. So as a parent, making sure we're checking to see if we don't know that, our child's sick, if they're not sick or if something's not happening, because sometimes, we have funerals, life is life. And so if that's not happening, they need to be at school. And if they're not at school, where are they? So yes, I did have a daughter that you know, she wasn't sick or, she wasn't at school. And so and it was about, having a talk with her, having a chat with her. And um I guess she was just that daughter that just, clashed with some of her teachers. And it was like, oh, that subject's boring. And it was like that. So as a parent, I had to talk to her dean. So we had quite a few meetings with the dean, Um, her school was quite open. It was awesome, I was able to talk to her dean. I was also able to talk to the teacher, the two teachers that, she was having some problems with. And yeah, we were able to sit down and have this talanoa about how my daughter can come to school or come to the class a bit more engaged with their learning. So yeah, teachers, they won't know if they don't know. So, teachers just, they just see this naughty girl not listening, but, they don't know that, yeah, other things that are going on. So it's like I said, communication is so important. Please do talk to your child's teacher, talk to the dean, if they're in high school, because, that's so important. If my daughter didn't, if we didn't have this discussion and I didn't get down to the school, it would have gone worse. Would have been worse for her. But attendance is so important. Attendance is so important. And I guess, sorry, Carl, you know, I think, we have this focus on, we have to go because, you need to learn. I even ask my students that, why you come to school? To learn, that's what they all say. But, it's more than that. It's more than just coming to school to sit in the classroom and to learn whatever the teacher's teaching, you know. It's a missed opportunity to develop skills, to laugh with friends, the socializing part. That's important. To build relationships, not just with their friends or with their peers, but with their teachers. School is much more than, just subjects. It's creating those fun memories and those social connections. And, we want your child there because we don't want them to miss out on those rich experiences that happen every single day.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I
Carl,
mean,
I thought I'd add that.
yeah, and like you're saying, if they're sick and they need to stay home. If you've got a family function or important thing that you need to go to, and you believe that they need to, of course. But as parents, we just need to know the the effect their attendance has on missing learning and so forth. So as long as we've got a plan in place, there should be, there should be no problem. So they're talking about 90% attendance, which is actually, it's one day off a fortnight. And we want that target to get to 80%. The government wants that by 2027. And then, of course, there's the moderates. So they're missing. So the more days they have off, it adds up. So just as long as you as parents are aware, having children away from school and missing school, if you are aware that it's going to have that effect, by all means, make sure that you address that with them and with the school. And you let them know that your child's going to be away. If children want to be at school, they're going to be, and they can't help that. But just know that this government has put a priority, a huge priority, and an emphasis for schools to focus on getting children at school more often. But not just being at school is going to make a difference. So you as parents need to go, yeah, my kid's coming every school, but man, the learning is not balancing. So there are things that schools are doing at the moment to try and build those connections. So next week, I think our school is going to be having our Meet the Teacher, and that's where an opportunity for you to come in and build a connection with the classroom teacher. And that will also earn brownie points for your kid because some children really enjoy seeing their parent with their teacher and engaging. What kind of things do you do in your school to, to build that connection of home and school? Because I know that I'm related to St. Paul's, and so those wonderful father-son
Yep.
breakfasts are ways in which attendance. So are there any other similar ones?
We actually have our college dinner next week. I just remembered we have our college dinner, and so we have, year seven all the way to year 13. They all come with their whānau. Everyone comes, everyone's invited because at St. Paul's, we not only just enroll the student, we enroll the whānau. So we enroll the family. So we have this big college dinner, and honestly, there's so much food. It's just ridiculous, like the amount of food that we have. We're trying to give it away at the end of it. We have live performances from our music groups. Um, so we're so lucky. We got some new music teachers, two pa'is that are taking over music this year. So I guess it's gonna, our live performances are gonna be awesome. But yeah, it's so awesome. I know every year for our college dinner, it's such a big thing, and this is the best way to interact with our whānau. Like this is where we get to, and it's so informal. I know you guys have got teacher, meet the teacher, and that it's just so informal. Whānau, they bring their picnic, their mats, they bring their chili bins, and they just find a spot somewhere, in the grass area, wherever, listening to music. Us teachers, we're mingling. Oh, it's awesome. It's
Nice.
such a community feel. It's yeah. That's probably a big thing that's coming up, and that's coming up next week here at St. Paul. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's an awesome way to get to know our whānau. Yeah.
Okay. So if anything, what Oleana has already been speaking about, if you focus on the well-being and the Hauora of our children and making sure that there's a balance in your homes and that everybody is also on a journey together about how important school is, attendance will be up as well. Children will want to come back. And so, yeah, that brings us to the end of our session. So, any last words, Miss? What's up next time? We've got one more session to go.
Yes, one more session. I think it's the focus is on literacy and numeracy support. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. All right then. Well, thank you. Stay tuned for us for our last session, Carl. It's going to be our last session. And so, like I said, we're going to be focusing on that literacy and numeracy support. And I hope you took something away from the session. It is an important session about our tamariki and their well-being. It's so important. And it's different from when we were young, Carl. It's different now, you know. They say children are softer now, but
Mm.
I'm not saying that. Okay, but this generation is different, and let's keep supporting them, and let's make sure they come to school every day. All right, but yeah, it's awesome talking to you guys today. We will see you next week. Have a great day. Have a great week.
See you
Taupa
later.
soifua.
Wiki